Staff Sergeant Alan Miller stood tall as the alien ship landed. The massive vessel gleamed under Earth's sun, its metal skin reflecting light in ways that human ships could not. Alan took a deep breath. Today, he would represent all of humanity. In the Galactic Federation's combat trials, Admiral Joe Green placed a firm hand on Alan's shoulder. "You ready for this, Miller?" "Yes, sir," Alan replied, though his stomach twisted with nerves. 6 weeks ago, humans had no idea aliens existed. Now he was about to fight in their arena to prove humanity's worth. The ship's door opened with a soft hiss. 3 aliens walked out. They looked almost like lizards walking on 2 legs. Their skin was dark green with patches of blue scales. The tallest one stepped forward. "I am Commander Zex Val of the Draconian Fleet," the alien said through a translator device. "We welcome Earth's champion." Ambassador Lisa Bell stepped forward. "This is Staff Sergeant Alan Miller of the United States Marine Corps. He will participate in your combat trials as agreed." The alien looked Alan up and down with large yellow eyes. "He seems fragile." Alan kept his face blank, but inside he felt a flash of anger. He had served 3 tours in conflict zones. He had a chest full of medals. Fragile was not a word anyone used for him. "Looks can be deceiving," Admiral Green said with a small smile. "Shall we proceed to your station?" The aliens led them to their ship. Inside it was much larger than it looked. The walls glowed with soft blue light. The air smelled strange, like cinnamon and metal mixed together. "Our station orbits your moon," Zexval explained. "Representatives from 12 species await us. There. All wish to see what humans can do." Alan sat quietly as the ship lifted off. Earth grew smaller below them. He thought about his training. The Marines had pushed him hard once they learned he would represent humanity. He had trained day and night with the new gear they gave him. Dr. Pam Wright, the lead scientist, had injected him with experimental nanites 2 weeks ago. "These will help you heal faster," she had explained. "They're not as good as alien tech, but they're the best we have." Now those nanites moved through his blood. They were part of him. Would they be enough? The alien station looked like a giant wheel spinning in space. The ship docked smoothly. When the doors opened, Alan saw a huge crowd of aliens. They had all kinds of shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange he could not describe them. "This way to the preparation room," a small alien with 4 arms said. Alan followed, aware of all the eyes watching him. In the preparation room, he changed into his combat gear. The uniform was standard Marine issue, but with special cooling systems built in. His helmet had the latest heads-up display. A door opened and Zexaval entered with another alien. This one looked like a giant jellyfish floating in a clear suit filled with liquid. "This is Council Member Blex Nor," Zexval said. "He will explain the trials." The jellyfish moved closer. "Human, our combat trials test strength, speed, pain tolerance, and fighting skill. You will face 4 rounds of increasing difficulty. These are not meant to kill, but they will cause pain." Alan nodded. "I understand. Your weapons are limited to what you brought. Our drones will use stun weapons for the first rounds. The final round uses low-level plasma weapons." Admiral Green stepped forward. "Plasma weapons, that wasn't in our agreement." "They are set to the lowest setting," Blexnor said. "They will burn, but not deeply." Lisa Bell looked worried. "Alan, you can refuse this." Alan shook his head. "No, ma'am, I'll do it. For Earth." The aliens led him to a large door. Beyond it, he could hear a crowd. "The arena awaits," Zexval said. "May your gods be with you, human." The door slid open. Alan walked into a massive round arena. It had rocks, small hills, and even some water. Thousands of aliens watched from seats all around. Their voices created a strange buzzing sound. "Beings of the Galactic Federation," a loud voice announced. "Today we witness the combat trial of the human species. Their champion faces our standard tests of worthiness." Alan checked his pistol. It was loaded with training rounds that would stun but not kill. He also had a combat knife and 3 flash grenades. Round 1 begins now. 5 small drones flew into the arena. They were shaped like discs with small guns on the bottom. Alan didn't wait. He ran for the nearest rock pile and took cover. The first drone fired. A blue bolt hit the rock near his head. Alan popped up, aimed, and fired twice. His first shot missed, but the second hit. The drone fell to the ground. The crowd made a noise like rushing water. Was that applause? 2 more drones came at him from different sides. Alan threw a flash grenade. The bright light stunned them long enough for him to shoot both down. The last 2 drones were smarter. They stayed back, firing from a distance. Alan had to move quickly between cover. A bolt hit his arm. It felt like being hit with a stun gun, painful but not terrible. He ignored it and kept moving. With a quick roll, he came up under one drone and stabbed upward with his knife. Something inside the drone sparked and it fell. The last drone charged him. Alan stood his ground, aimed carefully, and put his last shot through its center. The arena went silent. Then came that rushing water sound again, louder this time. "Round 1 complete," the announcer said. "The human has passed. Prepare round 2. Alan caught his breath. His arm still tingled where he'd been hit. This was just the beginning. The real test would come when they brought out the plasma weapons. Human science had barely started working on plasma technology. The aliens had mastered it centuries ago, but Alan had something the aliens didn't understand yet: human determination. On Earth, humans had fought and survived against impossible odds throughout history. It was in their blood. A door opened on the far side of the arena. Larger drones rolled out on wheels. These had bigger weapons. Alan reloaded his pistol. Round 2 was about to begin, and he would show these aliens what humans were made of. Alan watched as the round 2 drones moved across the arena. These were bigger than the first ones. They rolled on thick treads instead of flying. Each had 2 weapon arms that glowed with blue energy. "Round 2 will test your reaction to pain," the announcer said. "These drones use neural stimulators that cause increasing levels of pain without tissue damage." Admiral Green frowned from the viewing area. "Those are basically torture devices." Zexval turned his reptile eyes to the Admiral. "Pain response is a key measure of a species' combat value. We must know if humans can function while in pain." In the arena, Alan took a deep breath. The Marines had put him through pain endurance training, but he had a feeling this would be worse. He checked his remaining ammunition and moved to a small hill that gave him a good view of the approaching drones. The first drone fired. A thin blue beam hit Alan's leg. At first he felt nothing. Then pain shot through his body like lightning. Every nerve seemed to scream at once. Alan gritted his teeth and forced himself to aim. His first shot went wide as his hand shook from the pain. His second hit the drone but didn't stop it. The other drones spread out to surround him. Another beam hit him in the back. This pain was even worse. It felt like his spine was on fire. Alan stumbled and fell to one knee. In the viewing area, Lisa Bell covered her mouth. "This is too much. We should stop this." "No," Admiral Green said firmly. "Watch him." On the arena floor, Alan's face was twisted in pain, but something was happening. His eyes, which had been squeezed shut, slowly opened. His breathing, which had been fast and shallow, became deep and controlled. He rose to his feet. The aliens watching fell silent. Most species, when hit with that level of neural stimulation, stayed down for several minutes. Alan raised his pistol and fired 3 perfect shots. 3 drones fell. The pain beams from the other 2 intensified. Alan's body jerked as if he'd been shocked, but he did not fall again. With careful aim, he dropped the 4th drone. The last drone rushed him. It got close enough to touch him, with its weapon arm directly. The pain this caused was beyond description. Later, Alan would say it felt like being burned alive while frozen solid at the same time. But the aliens watching saw something they couldn't believe. The humans smiled. It was a terrible smile, full of teeth and determination. Alan grabbed the drone's weapon arm and held it against his chest as he pressed his pistol against the drone's central processor and fired his last shot. The arena was completely silent. No alien made a sound. They had never seen anything like this. Round 2 complete, the announcer finally said, voice slightly shaky. The human has passed. Medical team, please assist. 2 aliens in white uniforms rushed to Alan. They tried to help him walk, but he pushed them gently away and walked on his own to the edge of the arena. There, he finally allowed himself to lean against the wall as his legs trembled. Dr. Wright rushed to his side and scanned him with a medical device. Your vitals are all over the place. How are you even conscious? Alan took a drink from a water bottle she offered. Marines don't quit, Doc. In the viewing area, the alien representatives were talking quickly among themselves. Impossible, said a tall, thin alien with gray skin. Our data showed humans have sensitive nervous systems. This makes no sense. Zexval turned to Admiral Green. How did he do that? Those neural stimulators were set to level 4. Most species pass out at level 3. Admiral Green smiled slightly. Humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We've developed ways to push through pain. But there must be a biological mechanism, insisted a small floating alien covered in tentacles. There is, Dr. Wright said as she joined them. Humans produce natural chemicals called endorphins that block pain. Under extreme stress, we can produce enough to ignore almost any pain for short periods. The aliens looked at Alan with new interest as he prepared for round 3. The Marine checked his equipment and reloaded his pistol. The nanites in his system were working to reduce the after effects of the pain, but he still felt shaky. Round 3 will begin shortly, the announcer said. This round will test resistance to physical damage. Lisa Bell stepped forward. What exactly does that mean? Blex Nor, the jellyfish alien, moved closer. The drones will use weapons that cause actual but minor physical damage. For most species, this is light electric shocks or small cuts. And for humans? Admiral Green asked. We have calibrated for your biology, Blexnor said. The drones will use low-level heat weapons. Alan stretched his arms and legs, trying to get rid of the lingering pain. He knew round 3 would be worse than round 2. The aliens were testing them step by step, seeing how much humans could take. He had to show them that humans could take a lot. The new drones entered the arena. These were different. They hovered above the ground on silent anti-gravity pads. Each one carried what looked like a small dish antenna. Those are the plasma weapons, Dr. Wright said quietly. Even at low levels, they'll cause second-degree burns. Alan moved to a new position. He had 3 flash grenades left and a full clip in his pistol. His combat knife was still in its sheath. He would need all of them. Round 3 begins now. The drones spread out in a perfect circle around Alan. He knew he couldn't let them surround him. He charged toward the nearest one, firing as he ran. His shot hit the drone but didn't stop it. The drone fired back. A bolt of blue energy hit Alan's shoulder. The pain was immediate and intense. He could smell his uniform burning and the skin underneath. But he didn't stop. He kept moving, kept firing. The aliens watched in shock as the human continued fighting even as his body collected burns. One burn on his arm, another on his leg, a third across his back. Any one of these would have sent most species into retreat. But the human kept fighting. And more shocking still, he was winning. The plasma bolt hit Alan's shoulder and burned through his uniform. The pain was worse than anything he had ever felt. It was like someone had placed a red-hot iron against his skin. He smelled his own burning flesh and felt the skin blister and blacken, but Alan did not fall. He did not stop. He kept moving. In the viewing area, the aliens stared in shock. A tall blue alien with 4 arms turned to Admiral Green. This is not possible. A direct plasma hit should stop any fighter. Not a human fighter, Admiral Green said, especially not a Marine. On the arena floor, Alan rolled behind a rock formation as more plasma bolts hit the ground around him. He knew he had to change his approach. These weapons were too powerful for a direct attack. He needed to be smarter. Alan checked his burns. The one on his shoulder was bad. The skin was charred and blistered. His nanites were working to reduce the pain and start healing, but they could only do so much. He had other smaller burns on his arm and back. Most species would be in shock right now, Dr. Wright said, watching her medical scanner. His body is pumping so much adrenaline, I'm worried about his heart. But Alan wasn't worried about his heart. He was focused on the drones. There were 5 of them circling his position, waiting for him to move. He had to take them out one by one. Carefully, Alan removed a flash grenade from his belt. He threw it high over the rock. As it went off, he moved in the opposite direction, staying low to the ground. The drones fired at where the grenade had been, giving Alan a few seconds to get to new cover. From his new position, Alan had a clear shot at one drone. He fired 3 times, hitting it in the main body. The drone sparked and fell to the ground. Phew. Other drones immediately turned toward his position. Alan was already moving again. A plasma bolt caught him in the leg. The pain nearly made him black out. He stumbled but kept going, diving behind a small hill. That's a severe burn, Dr. Wright said, her voice tight with worry. He needs medical attention now. Look at his eyes, Admiral Green said quietly. He's not done yet. Alan's eyes were clear and focused despite the pain. His body was injured, but his mind was sharp. The Marines had a saying, pain is just weakness leaving the body. Right now, Alan felt no weakness, only determination. He crawled along the ground, staying out of sight. The drones were spreading out, searching for him. Alan waited until one came close to his position. In a sudden movement, he sprang up, grabbed the drone, and shoved his combat knife into its sensor array. The drone went dead in his hands. The other 3 drones instantly fired at his position. A plasma bolt grazed, his arm adding another burn to his collection. Alan ignored it and ran for better cover. In the viewing area, the aliens were talking rapidly among themselves. He keeps fighting, Zexval said, his voice filled with disbelief. Those burns would cripple a draconian warrior. Humans evolved on a planet where everything tried to kill them, Lisa Bell explained. Our bodies can take a lot of damage and keep going. Alan was down to 3 drones now. He had a plan to take out at least one more. He positioned himself behind a tall rock and fired several shots to get the drones' attention. When they fired, back he was already moving to a new spot. As one drone flew past his position, Alan leaped out and emptied his clip into it. The drone crashed to the ground, but the movement exposed him to the other drones. A plasma bolt hit him directly in the back. The pain was beyond description. Alan fell to his knees, his vision going dark around the edges. In the viewing area, Dr. Wright jumped to her feet. Stop this, he's going to die. But before anyone could respond, something amazing happened. Alan pushed himself back up. His uniform was burned away in patches, showing charred skin underneath. His face was pale from pain and blood loss. But his eyes were still clear and determined. The aliens watched in stunned silence as the human Marine reloaded his weapon with shaking hands and turned to face the remaining drones. Impossible, whispered a small green alien. No species can continue after such injuries. Alan fired at the next drone but missed. His hands were shaking too much. The drone fired back. Alan dove to the side but not fast enough. The plasma bolt hit him in the chest, burning through his uniform and into the skin beneath. For a moment, Alan lay still on the ground. Even the drones seemed to pause, as if waiting to see if he would get up again. Slowly, painfully, Alan pushed himself to his hands and knees. Blood dripped from his mouth. The nanites in his system were working overtime, but they were never designed to handle this much damage. His body wanted to shut down, to escape the pain, but his mind refused to quit. In the viewing area, Blexnor turned to Admiral Green. We must stop this. Your champion has proven his point. Ask him if he wants to stop. Admiral Green replied. Only he can make that call. The announcer's voice echoed through the arena. Human champion, you may withdraw from the trial with honor. Your performance has exceeded expectations. Alan heard the words. Part of him wanted to accept, to lie down and let the pain end. But a stronger part of him, the part that had made him a Marine, refused to quit while the job was unfinished. With tremendous effort, Alan stood up. He swayed on his feet but remained standing. He raised his pistol toward the nearest drone. "I'm not done yet," he said, his voice rough with pain but strong with determination. The aliens watching could not believe what they were seeing. No species they had ever tested had continued fighting after taking so much damage. Most would have surrendered after the first plasma hit. This human had taken multiple direct hits and was still fighting. Alan fired at the nearest drone, hitting it in its main body. The drone sparked but kept coming. Alan fired again. This time the drone fell. One drone left. Alan had 2 bullets remaining. The drone circled him, its weapons glowing with deadly energy. Alan watched it, waiting for his moment. When the drone paused to adjust its position, Alan fired his last 2 shots. The first shot missed. The second hit the drone's weapon array. The drone spiraled out of control and crashed into the arena wall. Alan stood alone in the center of the arena, surrounded by broken drones. His body was covered in burns and blood. But he was still standing. The arena erupted in a sound like thunder as thousands of aliens made their version of applause. They had never seen such a display of determination and endurance. Alan stood in the center of the arena, his body swaying slightly. The last drone lay broken on the ground. The arena was silent for a moment, then filled with sounds as thousands of aliens reacted to what they had seen. "Medical team to the arena. Now!" Admiral Green shouted. 4 aliens in white uniforms rushed to Alan's side. They tried to help him onto a stretcher, but he shook his head. "I can walk," he said, though his voice was weak. "Sergeant, you've taken multiple plasma burns," Dr. Wright said as she ran to him. "You need immediate treatment." Alan looked at her with clear eyes despite his injuries. "Marines leave the field on their feet, Doc." Admiral Green smiled slightly. "Let him walk if he can. It's important." The aliens watched in amazement as Alan Miller walked slowly toward the exit. Each step was clearly painful, but he did not falter. Blood dripped from his wounds, leaving a trail on the arena floor. When he reached the exit, he turned and faced the crowd. Then he stood at attention and saluted. The alien crowd made a sound like rolling thunder. They had never seen such a display of strength and will. In the medical bay, Dr. Wright worked with alien doctors to treat Alan's burns. The alien medical technology was far more advanced than Earth's. They used devices that seemed to rebuild damaged tissue instantly. "How bad is it?" Alan asked as they worked on his shoulder. "You have 3rd-degree plasma burns on your shoulder, chest, back, and leg," Dr. Wright said. "With our medicine, you'd be in recovery for months. With their technology, you should be healed in days." Admiral Green and Lisa Bell entered the medical bay with Zexval and Blexnor. The aliens looked at Alan with new respect in their eyes. "The Security Council is meeting now to discuss your performance," Blexnor said. "I have never seen such resilience." "How did you continue after taking direct plasma hits?" Zexval asked. "Our data suggested humans would be incapacitated by such damage." Alan winced as the doctors treated a burn on his back. "We're trained to keep fighting no matter what. Pain is just a signal. You can choose to ignore it." The aliens looked at each other. This concept seemed new to them. "That is, not merely training," Blexnor said. "It is a quality of your species." An alien doctor approached with a scanner. "His nanite technology is interesting, very primitive compared to ours, but they seem designed to reduce pain signals and start basic healing. Those are prototype medical nanites," Dr. Wright explained. "They're not meant for combat. Yet they helped him continue fighting," Zexval noted. "A wise adaptation." 2 hours later, Alan's burns were mostly healed. New pink skin covered the areas that had been charred black. He could move without pain, though the doctors warned him to be careful for the next few days. Admiral Green helped him sit up. "You did good, Miller. Really good." "Thank you, sir," Alan said. "Did I pass their test?" "Pass it?" Lisa Bell laughed. "You rewrote it." A tall alien with gray skin and 6 eyes entered the medical bay. She wore ornate robes that marked her as someone important. "I am High Counselor Vex Mora," she said. "I wish to speak with the human warrior." Everyone in the room stood straighter. Even Zexival seemed nervous in her presence. Of course. Hi. Counselor, Lisa Bell said quickly. Vex Mora approached Alan's bed. Her 6 eyes studied him closely. You have surprised us, human. Our combat trials are designed to test a species' combat capabilities. Most species withdraw after the first serious injury. Humans don't give up easily, Alan said simply. So we have seen, Vex Mora replied. The Security Council has reviewed your performance. We have reached a decision regarding Earth's place in the Galactic Federation. The room became very quiet. This was the moment that would decide humanity's future among the stars. Based on your performance, we now understand that humans possess unusual resilience and determination, Vex Mora continued. These are valuable traits. However, they also concern us. Admiral Green frowned. Concern you? How? Species that can continue fighting despite severe injury are rare in our galaxy, Vex Mora explained. The last such species became a grave threat. They waged war across 3 sectors before they were stopped. Lisa Bell stepped forward. Humans are not seeking war. We want peaceful relations and trade. Vex Mora's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. Words are easy. Actions reveal truth. That is why the combat trials exist, to see the true nature of a species. Alan looked directly at the High Counselor. And what did you see in me? We saw determination. We saw will. We saw a being who could have stopped, who should have stopped, but chose to continue, Vex Mora said. What we must decide is whether these traits make humans too dangerous to join the Federation. The room fell silent again. The fate of Earth hung in balance. With respect, Alan said slowly, the same qualities that make us good fighters also make us good allies. We don't give up on our friends, we keep our promises, we stand our ground when things get tough. Vex Mora studied him for a long moment. You speak well for a warrior. He speaks the truth, Admiral Green said. Throughout human history, our greatest accomplishments came from refusing to give up. We've explored our world, cured diseases, built civilizations because we pushed through hardship. Vex Mora was quiet for a moment, considering these words. Finally, she spoke. The Security Council has voted. Earth will be granted probationary membership in the Galactic Federation. For 10 of your years, you will have limited access to Federation, technology, and resources. During this time, you will be watched carefully. Lisa Bell let out a breath she had been holding. Thank you, High Counselor. We accept these terms. There is one more thing, Vex Mora added. We wish to establish a joint military training program. There is much we can learn from each other. Admiral Green nodded. We would be honored. Vex Mora turned back to Alan. Your recovery is impressive. Our medical technology has repaired most of the damage, but you should rest. After the High Counselor left, Dr. Wright checked Alan's vitals again. She's right, you need rest. But Alan was already sitting up straighter. What happens now, sir? Admiral Green smiled. Now we begin our journey into the galaxy, and it's all thanks to you, Miller. I just did my job, sir, Alan said. No, Lisa Bell said softly. You did much more than that. You showed them who we are, what humans are capable of. They'll never look at us the same way again. Outside the medical bay, the aliens were already spreading the story of the human who took multiple plasma hits and kept fighting. Soon, species across the galaxy would know about humans and their unusual ability to endure pain and keep going. 3 months after the combat trials, Alan Miller stood on the observation deck of the USS Horizon, Earth's first starship built with Federation technology. The ship was preparing to leave Earth's orbit on its maiden voyage to the Galactic Federation headquarters. Alan looked out at the stars. His body had fully healed thanks to the alien medical technology. Not even scars remained from his plasma burns, but he would never forget the pain or the lesson it taught the aliens about humans. Enjoying the view, Sergeant? Admiral Green asked, as he joined Alan at the window. Yes, sir, Alan replied. Never thought I'd be going to space as part of an official Earth delegation. Admiral Green smiled. You earned your place here. The aliens specifically requested you join the first crew. In the 3 months since the combat trials, Earth had changed dramatically. Federation technology had begun to solve many of humanity's problems. New medical devices could cure diseases that had once been fatal. Clean energy systems were replacing fossil fuels. Food production had increased thanks to advanced farming methods. "Captain needs you on the bridge," a young Marine said, approaching them with a salute. Alan followed Admiral Green to the bridge of the horizon. The ship was a marvel of human and alien technology. Humans had built the frame and basic systems. The aliens had added faster-than-light engines, advanced shields, and other systems Earth scientists were still trying to understand. Captain Linda Hayes turned as they entered. "We're ready for departure, Admiral. Federation escort ships are standing by." Outside the viewports, 3 alien ships waited. Their sleek designs made the horizon look bulky in comparison, but the human ship had its own strengths. It was built to last and to take damage if needed. "Signal the escorts were ready," Admiral Green ordered. As the horizon left Earth orbit, hundreds of people gathered in the main hall of the ship for the departure ceremony. Representatives from every nation on Earth were present. Alan stood with the security team watching the crowd. Lisa Bell took the stage and raised her hands for silence. "Today marks a new chapter in human history. We join the greater galactic community not as supplicants but as equals. 3 months ago, one brave Marine showed the galaxy what humans are capable of. Today we all follow in his footsteps." The crowd applauded as she gestured toward Alan. He felt his face grow warm with embarrassment. He hadn't expected to be singled out. After the ceremony, Alan returned to his quarters to prepare for the journey. The trip to Federation headquarters would take 2 weeks using the new faster-than-light drive. During that time, the crew would learn more about the alien cultures they would soon meet. A message alert blinked on his computer screen. It was from Zexval. The Draconian had been assigned as the liaison officer for the journey. "Meet me in Training Room 3 at 1800 hours, the message read. "Bring combat gear." Alan arrived at the training room to find Zexval waiting with 5 other aliens of different species. They all wore what looked like workout clothes designed for their unique bodies. "Welcome, Sergeant Miller," Zexval said. "These officers wish to begin the joint training program we discussed. They are eager to learn human combat techniques." Alan looked at the group. One alien had 4 arms and blue skin. Another looked like a large insect with a hard shell. The third was tall and thin with gray skin. The fourth had scales like Zexval, but was smaller. The fifth looked almost human except for the purple skin and extra set of eyes. "I'm honored," Alan said, "but I'm just one Marine. There are many different fighting styles on Earth." "We understand," Zexval replied, "but you are the one who impressed the Council. You will lead this first exchange." For the next hour, Alan demonstrated basic Marine hand-to-hand combat moves. The aliens watched closely and tried to copy him. Some moves were impossible for them due to their different bodies. Others they picked up quickly. "Your fighting style is very direct," the 4-armed alien commented. "My people prefer to use distance and speed." "Different approaches work for different situations," Alan explained. "Humans have developed hundreds of fighting styles over thousands of years. Yet you all share this ability to continue despite injury," the insect-like alien said. "How is this learned?" Alan thought about this. "It's partly training and partly who we are. Humans evolved on a dangerous world. Those who kept fighting despite injury survived and passed on that trait." The aliens nodded, processing this information. After training, Alan joined Admiral Green and Captain Hayes for dinner with Zexval and other alien representatives. The dining room had been specially designed to accommodate the different species. "Needs the Federation Council is eager to meet your delegation," a tall alien with tentacles said. "Your species has caused quite a stir." "How so?" Captain Hayes asked. "Most new species join the Federation from a position of weakness," the alien explained. "They need our technology and protection. Humans demonstrated strength from the beginning." Zexval nodded. "The combat trials usually end with the new species accepting defeat and asking for mercy. Sergeant Miller changed everything." Alan looked down at his plate, uncomfortable with the attention. "It's not just about fighting," Admiral Green said. Humans push through challenges in every field. Our scientists work through failures. Our doctors fight against impossible odds to save lives. Our explorers face unknown dangers. It's who we are. The aliens seemed impressed by this. Throughout the dinner, they asked many questions about Earth and human history. They were especially interested in how humans had survived so many wars and disasters. Later that night, Alan stood alone on the observation deck again. The stars streaked by as the ship traveled faster than light. Earth was already far behind them. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Dr. Wright said as she joined him. "It's amazing," Alan agreed. "I never thought I'd see anything like this." "Your nanites are working perfectly, by the way," she said. "The aliens are very interested in how we designed them. They say our approach is unique." "How so?" "Most species design nanites to prevent all pain," Dr. Wright explained. "Ours just reduce it to manageable levels. The aliens think this is why you were able to stay conscious and keep fighting." Alan smiled slightly. "Pain keeps you sharp. Tells you what's wrong so you can fix it." "Exactly what I told them," Dr. Wright said. "They're beginning to understand humans better now." As the USS Horizon traveled toward the heart of the Galactic Federation, word spread about the humans. Species across the galaxy heard about the Marine who took plasma burns and kept fighting. Some were impressed, others were worried. But all agreed on one thing: humans were not to be underestimated. This small young species from a distant planet had something special. They had the will to endure, the determination to continue against impossible odds, the strength to face pain and keep going. In the vastness of space filled with thousands of alien species, humans had made their mark. And Alan Miller, standing quietly on the observation deck of Earth's first starship, had no idea that his name was already becoming legend among the stars.